It's my pleasure to present to you Sister Jane Gerety, the 7th President of Salve, Regina University.
Thank you, Dean. My sisters in mercy, Monsignor Darcy, Senator Reed, Mayor Napolitano, members of the board, my wonderful family, friends from near and far, and all my new colleagues at Salve, Regina University. Thank you all. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful occasion. I wish that James and Kathleen Gerety were here to share this moment. Dad would be so proud of me. Mother would tell me, enjoy your life. I would say to her, I am enjoying my life. I am enjoying my life here at Salve Regina, and I hope to continue doing it. But this moment, this is really a unique moment, unique in its solemnity, wonderful and joyful in celebration, unlike any moment I've ever experienced in my life. We honor the past with traditions and costumes that actually go back to the Middle Ages. We look to the future as we mark the beginning of a new presidency and a new age. To say simply that it's an honor to stand before you at this moment is to say too little, but I must say it. I'm honored and deeply grateful to be here in this place giving this inaugural address. You know, an inaugural address is really kind of a strange piece of rhetoric. In a way, it's a speech born of ignorance. After 2.5 months as president, I don't really know what I'm talking about. And ironically, when this is the case, the temptation is to say something, to say everything that I ever believed about anything. And I promise you that I will resist that temptation and try to say a few things that I believe, or as Drew Faust, the president of Harvard, said, offer some expressions of hope, unchastened by the rod of experience. So I sound my theme. It's a theme of hope, appropriate for a university founded in Rhode Island. Hope is the Rhode Island motto connected to the state's seal with an anchor. And that was because Roger Williams was inspired by a verse from St. Paul's letter to the Hebrews. Hope is the anchor of the soul. Hope, too, is the anchor of this university, named for a hymn sung by the sailors who would go out often into rough seas. Salve Regina, Mater Misericordiae, Vita Dulcedo et spes nostra salve. Hail, Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. I wrote my dissertation on W.B. Yeats, who I will always find one of the richest English poets. But he often, in fact, looked out on rough waters himself off the coast of Ireland. He chose as an epitaph for one of his early works, In Dreams Begins Responsibility. And I asked myself, what is my dream? What is my hope for Salve Regina University as I accept this great responsibility? Whatever my hope is for the institution, it's inextricably linked to my hope for its students, each and all. So what do I hope for our students in this last year of the first decade of the 21st century? To answer that question, I'd like to begin with something that I heard from actually an NPR commentator last summer, and he was describing the concert given by Marian Anderson on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. It had to be given there because she was not allowed to sing in Constitution Hall because she was black. But in describing that concert, he said, the music took me to a place I had never been before. That's my hope for Salve students, that they'll be taken to a place they had never been before. Yes, and if there are parents in the audience, I apologize, but I want them to leave home. I want them to go to a place they had never been before. My hope for Salve students is that they'll have a spirit of openness, will live in a culture of restlessness, and that they'll be willing to be changed. I hope that these students will be at times uncomfortable, knowing that the university offers disorientation as well as discovery. I want them to leap intellectual as well as geographic boundaries. And I want them to resist the forces in the world that keep things as they are. I want them to be artists, even the scientists among them, artists who ask the imagination to move beyond its usual confines to see the world in new ways. And all that, of course, takes courage. There's a rhythm, I think, a tidal motion in the life of the mind and the life of the heart. As much as I hope that students will be open and willing to go to a place they've never been, I also hope that they will be rooted, grounded, and growing in confidence. That with the encouragement of faculty, advisors, student life staff, I hope that students will find their own voices and follow the voice they hear in the deep heart's core. I want them to live their lives. I want their lives and their work to be all of a piece, their skills, their knowledge, and their values to mesh. My hope is that finally Salve students will take the advice of Charlie Parker, that great jazz artist. Master your instrument, master your music, and forget all that and just play. Or I hope that ultimately Salve graduates will live their lives in such a way that, again, to quote my beloved Yeats, we ask, "O body swayed to music, O brightening glance, how can we know the dancer from the dance?" In August, I had the opportunity to meet many Salve alumni at various events. They were all enthusiastic, all grateful for the education received here. One young man summed it up for me when he said, "At Salve, I learned how to learn." How do I hope that students will learn how to learn? First, I hope that they'll be able to think for themselves and reason together. Through dialogue and deliberation, I hope our students will be treated and will treat each other with deep respect as individuals whose powers of mind are still unfolding. I hope that their dialogue will be honest and also that it will be civil. I want them to try new ideas, but I also want them to be accountable for their ideas, owning the consequences of what they think. Second, I hope that students will see themselves as members of a heterogeneous community, that they'll understand both the differences among us and those things that unite us as human beings, that they will honor the one who is different by probing and questioning, not opting out of the conversation or agreeing prematurely to disagree. Finally, I hope that students will have the ability to think what it might be like in the shoes of somebody else, a person different from themselves, to be intelligent readers of that person's story, what the inner world of that person might be like. As Naomi Nye says in her poem, Kindness, quote, "Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive." And even as the university leads students to that empathy, I hope it will also help them to realize that we'll never know another completely, that there's always a dark side, or there's always a side that is dark to us, and a side of ourselves that is dark to the other. Human life is sometimes lonely. I began by expressing my hope for students and found my way into describing a community of learners and scholars. And that, of course, is what a university is. We're not solitary in our pursuit of knowledge, meaning, and value. We embark on this great enterprise together. What then is my hope for this institution, and on what is that hope founded? This notion of community is, of course, a profoundly Christian one. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. And Salve, Regina, at its foundation, is a Christian, a Catholic university in the tradition of the Sisters of Mercy. And here we find another paradox. We're a Catholic university that welcomes people of all beliefs, and I mean welcomes. All are members of the community, but the university itself is surely held by a Catholic tradition, intellectual and spiritual, that is both steeped in the human and yearning toward the divine. Our view of the world is both rooted and reaching. It's both incarnational and transcendent. To believe that God became human is to believe that nothing human is foreign to God. Not pain or joy or anger, love or companionship. At Salve Regina, our study puts us in touch not only with the breadth and depth of human knowledge and achievement, the best that has been known and thought in the world, but also encourage us to challenge the tried and true. God has not yet finished with us or with our world. Humanity is evolving, and so is the reign of God. And we're part of that great cosmic enterprise, as Teilhard de Chardin expresses it, to renew the earth. So we believe at Salve Regina that this life is good, that all creation is God's, and that all that is human is holy. But we also know that mystery, the unfathomable, is at the heart of everything. The deepest truth is always outside our grasp. Or as Karl Rahner expresses it, the mind's deepest need is communion in what can never be ultimately defined, in love, fidelity, trust, and holy mystery. So, as to our students, our institution stands both confident in the saving grace of God's Spirit in this world and humble, accepting the limits of human reason and open to holy mystery. No matter the belief or lack of it of our students, it is my hope that they'll be held by that strong and good Catholic tradition that is both incarnational and transcendent, that they'll be strengthened by living in that aura, that ambiance, that deeply hopeful theology that is our foundation. So my hope for Salve is that it will be Catholic in the truest sense, and that it will be at its heart a mercy institution. I don't know which comes first, knowledge or love, but I do know that they dance with each other, they interact, they engage each other, and that Salve Regina as an institution acknowledges this profound connection. From their first freshman seminar, our students participate in service learning, and by the time they graduate, they've served in schools, soup kitchens, shelters, and hospitals. And of course, after they graduate, they continue to serve. They found orphanages in Kenya. They run institutions for the mentally handicapped. They study ecosystems. They heal people through medicine and nursing, and on and on and on. They learn not only to know the truth, but to do the truth. But mercy is not just action, it's also thought. In all of their courses, Salve's students are urged to consider their discipline from the point of view of mercy, that expansive love that sees the wretch by the side of the road as a neighbor. Mercy motivates the questions we ask and attempt to answer. As Lois Eveleth, professor of philosophy at Salve, expresses it, we want our graduates to know that realities like poverty, ignorance, lack of opportunity, the unequal distribution of resources, and powerlessness do have a moral relevance. Our commitment to mercy causes us to lift those questions up, whether the study is biology, nursing, theater, business, or the administration of justice. At Salve, we believe that all inquiry, all searching is in some sense motivated, in some sense subjective. It just doesn't end up in commitment. It begins with commitment, concerns, convictions. What we care about motivates our study, and what we study motivates our caring. The dance of love and knowledge goes on, based on the principle expressed by Karl Rahner that all knowledge is valid only in saving action when it has fulfilled itself in love. Or as Auden puts it, we must love one another or die. Salve Regina's mission puts it, our duty to our students is done when our graduates commit themselves to work for a world that is harmonious, just, and merciful. I began my address with the theme of hope. First, hope for our students, and in the light of that hope, hope for the institution. I'd like to end with the account of my beginning as president. On a snowy day in March, the announcement of my presidency was made, and among the many emotions of that day, one stands out. I remember the incredible sense of awe I felt when I read that Sister Jane Gerety has been named the 7th president of Salve Regina University. There was something about the notion of the 7th president that showed me where I stood, on whose shoulders I stand. I take my place in an unbroken line of Sisters of Mercy. Sister Mary Matthew Doyle, Sister Mary Hilda Miley, Sister Mary Emily Shanley, Sister Mary Christopher O'Rourke, Sister Lucille McKillop, Sister Therese Antone. Each woman courageous in her own way, each one leading the institution through a difficult time. These women are a great source of my hope, and I am especially indebted to my immediate predecessor, Sister Therese Antone, for leaving me such a strong institution, able to weather the storms that are undoubtedly coming, if not already here. I pray today that I'll be worthy to be in the presence of these great women, and that supported by the Salve Regina community and God's good grace, I will fulfill the duties of the office conferred on me today. Thank you.